There are three psychological barriers to exercise. The first being emotional, next being motivational, and last being time. Emotional barriers to participation are fear of injury, embarrassment, and failure. An athlete may be scared about injuring himself when participating in exercise, which will hinder their performance as they are not working at an optimum arousal level. Motivational barriers to participation are a lack of motivation and a lack of commitment. An athlete may not be committed and therefore not show up to training sessions as they don't want to participate. Time barriers to participation can range from anything that is time-consuming, such as family, friends, and work. This may be an athlete having to look after a family member or an athlete having to go to work and not being able to go to a training session. Survey. These were the questions from the survey. With the surveys, we used the three different models, the health belief model, the trans-theoretical, and the theory of planned behavior to base our questions around. The health belief model. The health belief model is used to explain and predict individual changes in a person's behavior. Perceived susceptibility is one's perceived thoughts of threat to illness. For example, how likely a performer feels they are to getting injured. Perceived severity is the belief of the consequence. For example, how severe or bad the performer may feel that injury is. Perceived benefits are the ideal of any potential reward. For example, playing in a new team at hope of winning a trophy or winning a title. And perceived barriers are what stops a person from a certain behavior. For example, being scared of sport due to a prior injury. Trans-theoretical model. The trans-theoretical model is used to determine how a person's behavior will change and at what stages these changes will take place. This theory is made up of 5 stages. The first being the pre-contemplation stage, which is where the person has no intention of changing their behavior and may not see their current behavior as a problem. The second stage is contemplation. This is where the person has realized the problem but has not made a plan to change it. The third stage is preparation, where the person will prepare to change their behavior. This may be in the form of writing a plan for it, but not yet proceeding in the change. The fourth stage is action, where the person starts to commit and physically make the changes that need to occur. And the fifth and final stage is where the person has replaced the old pattern of behavior with a new pattern of behavior. An example of these stages would be a person changing their diet to lose weight. It would start with a person denying that they're overweight. It would move to a point where the person realizes that they do have a problem, but does not yet have a plan to act on it. The person would then prepare the diet plan or exercise regime that they would follow. The next stage would be the person acting on the diet plan or the exercise. And the final stage would be the person maintaining their new change and not carrying on with their old lifestyle, therefore completely changing their behavior. The final theory is the theory of planned behavior. The theory states that attitude towards behavior, subjective norms, and perceived behavior control shape an individual's behavior intent and behaviors. Attitude refers to the current attitude of the person. Subjective norms refers to what is considered normal. Perceived behavior controls refers to the person's perceived ability to make the change in behavior. Intentions refers to what wanted to happen, and behavior refers to the change that is made. An example of this would be if a person's friend wanted the player to start playing a sport with them, for example, playing football with them on a new team. The person would need to have a positive attitude towards the sport or towards the team. He would then need to see the sport as accepted and finally, personally want to start playing. The intention to play the sport would be present and therefore his behavior would change and he would start playing. Generally, positive attitude and positive subjective norms result in a greater perceived control and increase the likelihood of intentions making changes in behavior.